Okay, so now we're going to deal with starting to make some masks, which can be a lot of fun. And I'm really glad that we're using this video clip because it's such it's a very, it shows you the behind the scene of a very crude um, green screen. Many times when we show you how to do a green screen, we talk about having these very tight and trying to eliminate as much of the folds as possible, and we want to hit the light on the screen better. We want to try to avoid all of these shadows of green. And then, of course, when you're shooting it, you don't want to include all of the background and everything. But I really like it for this reason because we're going to do a mask. And so you'll see, like, what do you do if somebody gives you something like this? And to draw, how do I draw a mask? And so we're going to use the pen tool for that. So I'm just simply using the pen tool. Make sure that you have clicked on the actual layer or the video clip, green screen running, that you want to use. And what you're going to see in here, I'm going to open it up for a moment. You're going to see that on top of transform is going to be another option of mask once I start drawing. So I left this open so that you could see it. Now your eyes are going to have to go here and up here because this is where I'm going to draw it, right? And I'm not really being that careful. I'm just going to sort of quickly etch out the area where the runner, I'll say, is. I'm not using a whole lot of points. And I do want you to see this because this is important. You would have seen this if you were in Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere, most of the softwares that have like a pen tool or a selection tool that's sort of that you're sort of drawing in nature, that when you roll over the point that you began with to close, to go to the end, right? So I started here, and now that I'm trying to get to the end, you see how my cursor that has my pen tool has that little circle next to it. That's telling you, okay, this is getting ready to close up. And so again, when I move it, see how that circle disappears? Now I'm going to put it back there and just go ahead and clip. So the reason why I don't see anything in the background is because remember, I've hidden my dog and all of that. I'm just working with the green screen running video clip. And as I said before, you see now that there's going to be a mask um, option um, underneath this now, right on top of transform. So we've created our mask, and if we open up this, we see that we have a mask. Where if I made more masks on the same layer, they would all be housed here. Um, and so I'm going to show you a few things about this, but keep in mind the purpose of this. So we did this in particularly because we wanted to mask out everything else that the runner was surrounded by and just have the runner. But a runner runs, which means their body is going to be moving. So we want to make sure that as he's running, he doesn't come out of the screen. So see how I'm just sort of slowly scrubbing. If I scrub really fast, I wouldn't be able to see as much as I need to see piece by piece. So right now he looks fine. I'm going to go back a little bit because I saw his arm go back. See that? And so these are kind of things that you're going to want to take your time with and just sort of look. So I'm like seeing his head go up. Um, it's really close to that top, so I might move that back a little bit. I'm going to think for a second. Um, Now that is two. See how his head is way above that? So that tells me just move that up. Okay. And see how his foot is off? So I have to open that up. His foot here is in there, but it's a little close. So I'm just going to give him a little bit more space. And then here, now this is a good one here to talk about because I can open it this way or I could add a point. Okay. And so it gives me a great opportunity to talk to you about these great selections. So again, I just clicked on the pen symbol and I'm going to go down to add vertex tool, right? So we were using the pen tool, but now I'm going to go to add a point, and so there's my point, right? And from there, I'm going to just go ahead and switch back to the tool because that's just the way I am. And I see how that, like, I'm not drawing. When I roll over it, I'm just opening it up a little bit, just so that he has a little bit more space. I'm going to keep checking. See how close his hand is to that end? I'm going to add another point. So here I am, and I have my point. As I said, I like to go back and just click on the pen tool and then pull it out, right? And I don't have to be so restrictive and tight. I can open up some of this. Um, and again, I'm just going slowly across this because I'm wanting to see where the problems are going to be so that I avoid them, right? So I can see, okay, he has plenty of space, you know. And so again, this takes a few minutes. This is not something that you just kind of rush to and go, oh yeah, it looks fine, because then there's going to be parts that won't be there. His hands or his limbs will go out of the scene. And so we're just making sure that we can continue to see him. So see how he's really close over here. So I'm just going to open this up a little bit just so I know, you know, I can do something a little bit tighter. But I feel like if he is running, I want to make sure I'm getting him in there, his feet in there, his hands, you know, he's swinging around. Okay, now you see this one? This is a really good one. See how his hand is gone? So I'm just going to open that up a little bit. See how his foot's gone here? Now I could have added a point, but I didn't. I just made this bigger. And it's really easy to sort of not see it because he's moving quickly and, and you're scrubbing. See that one? Look at that. So we're going to open that up, and his hand is like almost gone here. So I have to take a look at that. Um, Look at that. He's like up in the air. He's off the screen. Um, and this is the size of the video. So even if I pull the video down, he won't, there's nothing up there because we scaled this to the size of the video, of this video. So when he shot this, you know, I'll say when you shoot, you want to make sure that you don't have a situation like this where where there's media missing, because that's something that the person, when you're doing a clip like this, especially running or when you're highly animated, you really want to test it. You want to have that person illustrate it and do it so you can pay attention to where their hands are cutting off like that, so that you can change where your camera is placed, or change your focal point so that you can get a wider shot of, you know, when he's up here so he doesn't go off camera. So let me go, and then he collapse. He's collapsing. The really great character here. And I'll just open that. And his feet are gone, so I better open that down to here. So again, I can only open it as big as the actual footage was shot in. After that, you know, he's on his own. Um, and now he is completely out of the screen. um, yeah, this will be a fun one for you guys to do. Um, and he falls over. I don't think we're going to use all of this. We're probably going to clip some of this with him just running, but it is sort of a fun one for us to do. Um, I may tighten it a little bit later, but you know, whatever is missing off this off of this is because it's not in the footage. The other thing I wanted to show you, so I showed you how to add a point, but I'm going to show you how to take away a point, which is here, it's delete. So if I click on this, I'm going to delete that point. And then again, if I want to add it back, I go back to my add and I can add a point, right? And then I can move it wherever I want to move it. And I'll move it over just because he's moving like crazy. The other stuff, so that was add, that was delete, right? So if you want points, add more points, add more points. You want to delete points, delete them there. Then I want to show you convert vertex tool, which is a really nice one too. And so when I click on this, see how that smooths it out and it gives me a nice little Bezier anchor or tool here so that I can continue to shape that. That's what that option is. And then the feather mask, which we'll use in a little bit, we'll go over that and once we use it. But I'm going to come down here to the feather, to the settings. So again, I'm under the actual video clip and I'm under mask and under this particular mask. See how it says mask 1? Because if I do more mask on this video clip, I'll have multiple masks here. So I'm just going to scrub my mask feather. And when I do that, you'll see what happens to the edges of this mask. So here I go scrubbing. See how that softens it? So sometimes that is appropriate, sometimes it's not. I don't think we need it right now. The opacity of the mask, here we go. We'll change the whole, not just the mask, but the video clip as well. See how it all disappears? So bring it back up. And then the expansion is always nice. Like in his case, he needed some expansion. And so we could have expanded it that way, but because he was so animated in specific spots, we couldn't do it that way. Okay, so now we have masked him and we'll go to the next, we've created a mask by drawing it and we'll go to the next step.